Welcome to Building Futures, the official podcast of Kalgreens Architects. Today we're diving into a topic that's everywhere in conversations about architecture, urban planning, and even lifestyle: sustainability. But what does it really mean to live in a sustainable home? Is it just about solar panels and energy saving, or is there something deeper behind it? To explore this, I'm joined by Khaled Khadra, founder and CEO of Kalgreens Architects, Inc. Khaled, thank you for being here.
Thank you. It is my pleasure.
Let's begin with one of the most asked questions. What does the concept of passive house really mean, and how is it applied in practice?
Passive house is a design standard that started in Europe, and the idea is simple: a home that naturally regulates itself. Instead of depending heavily on mechanical systems like heating or cooling, it uses design and materials to keep a stable, comfortable climate. That means exposure consideration for windows, canopies above opening to allow sunlight in during winter, and to block it during summer, higher performance windows, thick insulation, airtight construction, no thermal bridges, and mechanical ventilation with heat recovery. The result? Up to 90% savings in heating compared to a conventional home. And this is particularly important in Canada's climate. Our winters are long, freezing, and demanding. Conventional homes lose heat quickly, forcing you to spend heavily on heating systems. In a passive house, the insulation and airtight envelope keep the warmth inside, so the interior stays comfortable even when it's minus 20 degrees outside. In summer, when Ontario can be hot and humid, the same design prevents overheating, keeping the home cool without relying constantly on air conditioning. Comfort and efficiency work hand in hand in every season.
So how does a sustainable home really differ from a conventional one?
A conventional home depends a lot on mechanical systems: heating, cooling, artificial lighting. A sustainable home, on the other hand, takes advantage of natural resources, sun orientation, materials, ventilation, and integrates them into the design from day one. The difference is felt daily. In a conventional house, the temperature rises and falls quickly. In a sustainable home, the climate is stable and comfortable, as if the house itself were taking care of you.
And what tangible benefits does someone actually notice when living in a sustainable house?
Several. Thermal comfort, cleaner air thanks to ventilation systems, less outside noise, more natural light, and long-term savings. But beyond that, there's peace of mind, knowing that your home is aligned with caring for the planet.
Now, the big question, does a sustainable house always cost more?
Not necessarily. Some materials or systems may have a higher upfront cost, but they're offset by energy savings and durability. Think of it as an investment. However, there are passive design solutions that will not really impact the initial cost and will turn into savings on the long run. The architect, simply by incorporating certain design features such as recessing the windows and placing certain trees in certain locations, will enhance the performance and comfort in a home. And when it comes to resale value, sustainable homes are often worth more. For example, if you build to passive house standards, you might spend slightly more at the beginning, but you can save up to 90% on heating over the years. Imagine cutting your monthly bills to a fraction for decades. It changes the entire household economy. What's critical is having the right team that has extensive experience in this type of project.
And what about those who already own a home? Can you retrofit an existing house to make it more sustainable?
Absolutely. Retrofitting is one of the most powerful things we can do. You can add insulation, replace windows, upgrade HVAC, or integrate elements like a greenhouse as a thermal buffer. Step by step, you can transform an existing home into a healthier, more efficient space. We designed a home in Burlington, Ontario, which had very large windows on the south side facing the lake. Not only did these windows emphasize the beautiful scenery toward the lake, but also improved the home's performance. We ran a simulation to calculate the energy consumption for the home, and because those windows brought in direct sunlight during winter, while the roof canopy blocked the sunlight during summer months, the simulation returned very impressive results that justified the use of larger windows. Our approach is considerate design. Let me explain that. Typically in Ontario, architects minimize the percentage of windows in a house to avoid heat loss and try to maintain it under 17% of the total exterior wall area. In the case of the Burlington house, we proposed 25% fenestration, meaning the windows to exterior wall ratio was 1/4 of the area of the walls, and yet the home performed better than a home would perform if it had 17% fenestration. This is where consideration comes into play, and where an architect can cross the boundaries by doing something that is out of the box. Another example was a house we designed in Scarborough, Toronto. The Pine Ridge Drive home had a greenhouse attached to it. We designed a unique heat recovery system that extracts hot air that rises to the top of the greenhouse and forces it back to a thermal mass that is underground below the greenhouse and plants. It is able to maintain the temperature of the greenhouse and drastically reduce the energy consumption required to heat up the greenhouse. The south-facing greenhouse then becomes a heat source for the home itself during winter.
Interesting. Are there any simple ideas that you can suggest for people who do not want to invest a lot of money to improve the performance of their home?
I can think of a few simple things. We did some simulations on the performance of air conditioning in Ontario and found that by simply placing the outdoor unit under shade or by building a small awning above it, it improves its performance by 10%. And if we add a water sprayer above it that runs automatically when the AC is running, it improves the performance by another 10 to 15%. So that's 25% of improved performance by simple changes that do not cost a fortune. Also, planting deciduous trees on the south side of the building in countries in the northern part of the hemisphere, and the north side in countries in the southern hemisphere will block direct sunlight and reduce your cooling bill and will ensure that that wall acts as a thermal mass in winter. The trees will also allow the home occupants to open their windows and let in fresh, cooler air, which is always a plus, in my opinion.
Let's talk about materials and technologies. What really makes the difference?
High-quality insulation, high-performance windows, green walls and roofs, mechanical ventilation with heat recovery, recycled or low-impact materials. Also, systems like rainwater collection or natural pools like the one we designed for House C in our portfolio. The key is integration. All these elements working in harmony, not as add-ons.
And long term, do sustainable homes perform better than conventional ones?
Yes, absolutely. They're designed to last longer. Insulation protects the structure, maintenance is simpler, and materials are often more durable. Plus, they adapt better to climate change. And to those who believe sustainability is just a trend, I'd say it's not optional anymore. Regulations are getting stricter, clients are more conscious, and above all, sustainability is about quality of life, today and tomorrow.
Finally, for someone who wants to build their home but knows nothing about this, where should they start?
By talking, sharing how they live, what they dream of, what they wish their home could do for them. From that conversation, architects can translate desires into a design that is sustainable, healthy, and personal. At my practice, we always say a home begins with a conversation, not a drawing.
Khaled, thank you for this conversation. I think it's clear now that a sustainable home is not a luxury or a fad. It's a better, more human future.
Thank you. The important thing is to see sustainability not as a cost, but as an investment in ourselves and the planet.
And for those who want to discover more about projects like Sustainable House C and other designs with soul, visit Kalgreens.com or follow us on Instagram. Until next time, this was Building Futures.